Grab your popcorn, pour your drink of choice, and hit play. This is Pop, Pour, Play,
where we dive into shows you don't want to miss. I'm Kevin.
I'm Nichelle.
And welcome to our podcast.
Thank you for joining us for another episode. I'm Nichelle, and if this is your first time joining us, you've found the right channel.
And I'm Kevin, and if you don't know, this is where we get to talk about all the shows that we love and share our perspective and really just dive into what we think is going on, and half the time we don't know what's going on.
Before we get started, I'd love to know, what are you sipping on?
Today I got a blueberry lemon mocktail. It's mixer with a little bit of tonic, so it feels alcoholic, but no alcohol today.
Alcohol is not the only way to have fun, right? We don't always drink, you guys. So,
Yeah.
I too have a little bit of a mocktail. It's like one of my favorite little strawberry spritzers. Just no sugar added from
Ooh.
Trader Joe's. Absolutely love it.
I'll have to check them out.
So cheers, a friend.
Cheers. All right, Paradise. We're going to be talking about episode 6 of season 1. I must say that if you love spoilers,
This is the way.
This episode, I must say, I went into it very pumped because of the way the last episode ended. For all of you joining us, we do not have previous episodes where we covered Paradise, but we've been watching since the beginning and thought, okay, we've got to talk about it.
it's so good. I don't mean to jump in, but it's such a solid find. It's so good, and I'm so excited to talk about this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a two-way conversation. You could jump in any time. So yeah, I'm excited. Shout out to my friend Ann Julia, who actually tipped me to this show. I'm along for the ride. And again, as I mentioned from the previous episode where it ended, where in the sky, they're lying to you, I believe it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
I came in here hyped, and I don't know.
The way that Collins, the agent, the star
Yes.
of this show, he was game face when that end of that episode, he was totally like, I'm coming for you. The way he
Yes.
stood in front of the camera because he knew she was watching. I was ready for war. Honestly, that's how I felt.
I was too. And at some point in this episode, they did strap up. But normally we do hot takes, and I'm not quite sure I have hot takes for this one. I think I have more like grievances. There was a lot of disconnects.
I agree. I almost feel like this episode was one that they intentionally are trying to steer us away from whatever we thought was going to happen. And that's because I left this episode, I didn't feel so confident as to what was going on as I did the last one. And just to kind of go into my first question, because that's really where I'm at. At the beginning of the episode, we finally get to see his wife.
Right.
His wife they got separated, so she didn't make it into the bunker cave that they went into because the world ended. We got to see her before all of this happened, and they kept talking about her career, and he was so proud, she's making leaps and bounds in her career. But did we get what she does? Do we know?
No. So we just know that she's a doctor because she surely made that clear when the principal came in and was like, Mr. and Mrs. Collins, and she was like, Mr. Collins and Dr. I can't remember the other last name. It seemed like her name was hyphenated.
Mr. Collins and Dr. Rogers Collins, actually.
Of course.
So no, we just know that she's a doctor.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that is or what type of labs are known to be in Atlanta.
Yeah.
But I almost feel like, I don't know why I want to say CDC, but I don't know.
It's possible. It's possible. After that's one of the big questions I ended the episode with, and I wasn't sure what you caught there.
Because you're wondering, did they leave her on purpose?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, maybe they left her in Atlanta on purpose. Maybe she was working on something that impacted the earth and caused the world to end. I don't know. Maybe she was in on some knowledge and they knew of this.
Okay, that's interesting because I didn't think about that. I am wondering, since the president did talk about at one point in the episode, going back for his wife and picking her up, why didn't that happen? And I feel like maybe Sinatra had something to do with that. Not necessarily. I almost feel like this catastrophe, they caused something to happen.
I don't know if you caught it. So Collins' daughter with the iPad. So we figure out where the iPad is, and she just happened to find it on a bush.
Right. So we found out in the last episode when she looked under her mattress that she had this iPad. Yes.
Right. So in this episode, she gets it unlocked. And one thing that she said was that there were 2 thermonuclear attacks in Atlanta.
Yes. Right.
So I think something maybe initiated by man.
Similar to how Sinatra orchestrated the killing of those 4 scientists. The scene where Agent Collins was like sharpening this blade, right, in the bar. The kids being in the basement, I guess, of that bar. And then the neighbor coming over with his contraband, the smuggled dog into the bar. I thought, okay, yeah, they're about to like set it off. It's gonna go down. He's ready. And the first thing that happened was the daughter, he told them to stay in place. And of course, she's telling her younger brother, okay, he's like, where are you going? And I was just like, why? Every time. And this is usually why people who are in this type of profession, any type of secret service or, I don't know, some type of like special ops or anything, right? They, in movies, I should say, they don't typically have families because they seem to be a liability.
Yep. Prime example.
Why are you not listening to your father? But first of all, she's the one who found this tablet and didn't say anything.
Right. Yeah. And, didn't say anything after the murder of President. Does she know the murder? That it was a murder? Because I know they said it was
okay,
causes.
He died. Right.
Right.
They didn't tell everyone. She seems pretty smart and confident and kind of more mature than for her age, I should say. So I don't know why she wouldn't put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
You happen to be over there that night. The president dies. They turn off the cameras. So they don't even know really if it was foul play or not. He wasn't walking around sick.
Yeah. And we learned that she saw someone running because I think she recognized on the bookmark of
the grandfather.
The grandfather, right? Bookmark had the flower or whatever. And of course, she releases that little tidbit of information that she saw someone with a jacket on that night.
That had a flower.
Right. So like there's a lot of information that she knows that we're learning she knows. And I wonder, there might be more. And I think she may have seen something and is afraid to say something.
Maybe, but then to put yourself in that location the day that it happened just didn't feel. There were a couple of things about this, first of all. And this goes into one of my grievances is when she left where she was supposed to stay. So that's one issue. Now she could be caught and used against Agent Collins, which, I mean, that's pretty much what's going to happen.
Yeah.
2, she goes to the president's son. You tell him, well, sometimes, I don't know, does he live there? I'm assuming he kind of doesn't, or he does. I'm really confused on that situation. I know he's acting like he's still married, but they don't really have a marriage. Maybe the mom and the son lives in another house. But it's like, I was at your father's house, regardless, the day he died. And I happen to have this secret tablet that he would hide under 2 locks because he'd have a lockbox within a safe, right?
Right.
That tablet. And the son is just kind of emotionless. I'm like, wait, what were you doing at the house? How did you not tell me? He was so, right?
I'm going to save my thoughts on that one. But you kind of just like listening, you think through that. I have to say it.
Yes.
So one of the questions that I had was, who the hell is in that jean jacket running away? Right. And the symbol
did you see a jean jacket? Because I thought I was watching like a painter's onesie or something.
Oh, it looked like a jean jacket. And
it could have been. Could have been off.
And so I think they want us to think it was Jane because the entire episode she had a jean jacket over her orange hoodie, and they never showed the back. But I think I think they want us to think it's her. And I was like, how does it have the flower that was related to the grandmother? Because I think that's what the grandfather said.
Correct.
Except the son, who you're saying wasn't even surprised, didn't bat an eye. What if it was him?
Yeah, okay. So the reason why I don't think it's somebody professional is, what was your point of killing the president? And why did this tablet end up in a bush? So if it was someone who was going to kill him, one, to silence him, but then get the information, the secrets that he has, because what else? Like, you would just kill him and leave behind a tablet that somebody else could open up and find out what was going on with like Sinatra and the billionaires. So I'm thinking it wasn't somebody who was professional, because if you're taking something like that, you have a backpack, or, you know what I'm saying? You would secure that first after killing the person.
You wouldn't just run off without it.
You wouldn't just run off. They weren't running like they just tripped, or, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So to me, it just feels sloppy that it was, or did the president see somebody coming and was just like, whoop, I'm going to throw this out the window. Yeah. And they didn't have time to look for it. Like, so that's a part where I'm kind of...
Something's not adding up. Yeah, I agree.
It's not adding up, but then the son goes and stands on this truck and is like preaching to the...
guilt.
I just didn't add up to me.
I'm looking at the sun on that one. Just because of how, just because, and maybe that's too easy because they had their last conversation was him saying, "I wish you were dead," and I don't know. I might be reaching, but I got my eye on him.
Yeah, I don't know. That just didn't sit well. I don't care who you are. You tell me, and I'm already feeling bad because I should have been there for dinner and stuff with my dad. And you tell me you were at the house. What were you doing at the house? I was like, yeah, I come from video games. It's like, okay.
No big deal.
Yeah.
No big deal. Okay. Yeah,
and you just now saying this on the day that he died?
And
then it was like, I saw that flower and it was just kind of brushed over and they showed us this person with a flower. I don't know. I felt also like it seemed rushed. The episode felt very rushed. Yeah. Like they needed to cover stuff in this season and was just trying to throw it all kind of this climactic.
I think they're trying to throw us off. So this way they have room for like a big spin in the end. And we're like, oh my God, we never saw this coming. But
yeah, but then, okay. So I'm going to get on my soapbox with all my grievances. So I'll back down a little so you can get one of your other questions in there that either you have or was answered.
We kind of answered two of them. So I have one more. Whose side is Tarabi on, the therapist, Gabriella?
Right.
Whose side is she on? Because I don't know anymore. At first I was like, okay, she's going to go against Sinatra. She's feeding him secrets. She has her
own, she's playing her own cards. She always talks about her deck and playing cards and putting in wild cards and all of that.
And now all of a sudden she's, backpedaling and she's, trying to cover her tracks with Sinatra because Sinatra's starting to be skeptical of her because we find out that she has her house bugged, which I'm not surprised, honestly. I think everyone's foolish for thinking that they're safe, honestly. But
so Gabriella, I don't know what's up with her. She had the nerve. Just found out that Samantha was watching her in the bathroom of her own home and had the nerve to tell Agent Collins she's not a monster.
It's not what she was saying 2 episodes ago. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
I think
I'm so confused by her.
We obviously know she has some power and she was involved in getting the city put together, and maybe she's realizing if we start a riot or, a rebellion inside, that could, change everything.
Right. And I mean, to her point, she doesn't know, I don't think, about those 4 scientists being killed and that outside is still livable.
The way she kept driving at
breathable. Right. Like, what does he have on you?
Mm-hmm.
What does he know?
Girl, okay, obviously she's lying.
Clearly she's not telling you. True. And so to her, this is her only world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's got to work. So I guess, but I'm also like, really? Agent Collins is not after you. So why don't you just let him get Samantha
Yeah, like get out of
Hey,
the way.
you know what I mean? He's not going to tear up the place. He just wants to get her. So why are you protecting her? Just, it was so frustrating.
So the last scene, we finally see Collins is trying to go for Samantha, and he thinks they get her, but we find out Gabriella Tarabi gave her the heads up that he was coming for her. Maybe we shouldn't fall into his trap. Whatever. So basically he confronts her, and she, raises some information, which of course piques his interest. And the reason why I'm frustrated is because she said, hey, your wife, I know she's alive out there. I'm going to help you find her. And we know he's very upset. He thinks she's dead. She might be dead. You could just see it in his face that he was, gravitating towards what she was saying because he wants it to be true. Yeah. And I worry that he's going to compromise his overall objective because she knows his soft spot.
Right. Which I feel the soft spot was given to her by Gabriella, right? Mm-hmm. She knows that was someone he lost. They talked about it in the diner. I feel like 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
In length, right? When he also talked about his relationship with his dad. Mm-hmm. But we know his dad is gone, so she can't use that or anything. Mm. This is another thing that goes back to kind of what annoyed me about this episode, because you had talked about before, like you think they're throwing things at us to steer us away from what might be going on, to trick us. I am annoyed by that in the sense that when he got to her house, she was all a panic. She started twirling the back of her head, that bald spot she gets because she's all nervous.
Yeah.
And she was a mess. Now he gets into the house, he's confronting her, and she's just confident, little back to being cocky. Mm. And the whole time I'm thinking, that's because she knows Jane has his daughter. Yeah. Who again is that liability. Little girl, why did you not stay in the basement of that bar like I told you? Okay, that's what I'm thinking. And I'm like, yep, that's exactly what's going on. And then for her to then shift and flip the script and say, I know your wife's alive out there.
The daughter is a contingency plan, because the second we find out that the wife actually isn't alive, they're gonna be like, all right, well, we have your daughter. So like, right. We're still in touch.
Exactly. Well, that didn't work, but your daughter's here.
Let's see what we can do for free and, keep her in our back pocket.
Yeah. I was so disappointed with the way this went. I don't know. So yeah, I'm not canceling the show. I will continue watching. But yeah, this just didn't satiate my appetite for good TV.
It was a messy episode. So I hope next episode they sweep up their mess and they get it together and, clean up the plot. Yeah. I'm still very intrigued. I need to know if they get Sinatra at the end of the day. So
your wild prediction is the son is the killer.
That is going to be my wild prediction. Yeah, I think there's too much tension there before the president was killed, and he was likely, home late and something happened. And the fact that the jacket had the flower that was, resembled the one from his grandmother. There's like lineage. They probably had jackets made. I don't know. Right. And he just happened to wear it, and she remembered that. The daughter remembered.
I almost want to make this wild, off the cuff prediction, or that the grandfather is not
I think I know what you're going to say.
That he's actually well. He doesn't have any Alzheimer's or I can't get this out because you're in your face. And he's the one creeping around doing the dirty. And so he kind of reminds me of Maester Luwin in Game of Thrones, where he used to walk around like he was this fragile, elderly maester. And then there was a scene where he was in his robe I think he was in his room chambers with a young lady. He like stretched his legs out, popped his back, and was like walking straight. He was in perfectly healthy condition. But that was his, that was his mask, his ruse around King's Landing.
Do we think this old man has it in him to do that? And I guess my question is why? It's interesting. I'll have to, keep that lens when I watch the next episode.
They were doing a lot of throwing stuff at the wall, so I'm just going to do the same.
Hey, if it sticks, it sticks.
If it sticks, it sticks. Okay. Which character won the episode for you?
I feel like mine's going to be a little bit of an easy one or a cop-out, but it's true. I think I'm going to have to stick with Agent Collins, for this episode, just because he's leading the charge. I thought we were going for full-on war. It didn't really play out that way this episode, but I'm hopeful that next episode he pulls through for me there and does some damage and gets some answers, honestly, but I'll have to see. No one else really stood out to me.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. I'm just gonna not say Collins. I mean, there's no reason I shouldn't because, again, no one else really stood out to me in this episode. But I will just say, for the sake of wanting to better understand what her deal is Gabriella.
Yeah.
She did a great job in just really disguising. Does she really not know? Does she know? Why is she saving Sinatra? Is it for her own plan in the end? What is her end game? What is the best outcome for her? Because like Sinatra said, do you really think we're just going to talk and all get along? Something to that effect.
Right. I just need to know whose side she's on. I feel like that's all I need to know.
All right, thank you all for watching us as we talk through another one of the shows that we love, which was Paradise. If you're watching, we definitely want to know what you think in the comments.
And if you have a character of the week, please drop it below. Also, do not forget, make sure you like, subscribe, do whatever you got to do, and be here next week.